Hey everyone, and welcome to Chef AJ Live. I'm your host, Chef AJ, and this is where I introduce you to amazing people like you who are doing great things in the world that I think you should know about. Well, it's the third Saturday of the month, which means it's time with Dr. Nandita Shah, Saturdays with SHARAN. Please welcome her back to the show. Nice to see you again.
Chef AJ, it's always a pleasure to be with you, and I'm always honored to be with you. So we've all prepared for this, and there are three of our team members here that I'll be introducing you to one after another. And I'm just so excited to introduce them and to introduce the topic. Today's topic is acidity and heartburn, and this is something that so many people suffer from. And most people don't talk about it. They just take antacids and things. But today we're going to talk about how to get rid of it completely. So, before I start, I want to introduce you to Reena Rupani. Reena is one of our team members. She's like almost like my right hand. She's handling all the events and many other things at SHARAN. And she actually became a SHARAN team member just because she got rid of her acidity in 3 days by changing her lifestyle after coming to one of our events. So Reena, would you like to share your experiences before we start?
Yes, thank you, doctor, for your kind words. So, hi everyone. I had acidity, and I'm sure whoever has acidity knows how difficult it is. Your chest is burning regularly. I wasn't even able to sleep, and I'm someone who just doesn't like to take medicines. But I had no choice but to go to the doctor to get medicines because I couldn't sleep, and I was puking, and I was so uneasy and uncomfortable. And it's like you ask the universe and it sends you the answer. And there was just this little SHARAN ad which popped up, and I went there and I saw this film called Forks Over Knives, and Dr. Nandita was there, and I had the meal, and the meal was super delicious. I said, oh, let me give this a try. And all I did, I was a vegetarian anyway, so all I had to do was just drop some of the things that I loved a lot, actually, but I don't miss them at all anymore. And I just stopped dairy, and in 3 days, my acidity just disappeared, and it was like magic. And I said, "Oh wow! If I can have delicious food and still have no acidity, let me give this a shot." And I, went on, gave it a shot, and within a span of 7 months, actually 8 months, I lost about 17 kilos of weight. It's been 9 years now. So acidity was actually a blessing in disguise, I feel now, because that's how I got connected to SHARAN. And now I'm part because I feel that every single person should know that health is so easy and so delicious simply by making a few changes. So apart from that, I have a lot of energy. I look much, much more younger than I used to. My skin is much more clearer now. My husband's cholesterol tablets have gone. My parents' diabetes and blood pressure tablets have just disappeared. So from the smallest issues like acidity to even the larger chronic lifestyle diseases, the change of diet really works. So I'm so glad that you all are watching us. And if you do have acidity, it's time to say bye-bye to it. Thank you. Over to you, doctor.
Okay, Reena, thank you so much for that. And I just want to tell the American viewers that your 17 kilos is around 37 pounds. So Reena lost 37 pounds in 8 months. So that's really something, right? And that's why she's like always committed to helping us at SHARAN. So thank you, Reena. I'm going to share my screen right now, and just and for those of you who are new, I want to say that SHARAN stands for Sanctuary for Health and Reconnection to Animals and Nature. And so our method of healing is to think about what did nature or God expect for us to eat, and how are we supposed to eat and live? And if we make that connection, it's easy to get well. So today's topic is acidity, heartburn. And as I said, this is such a common problem. So what exactly is acidity and heartburn? We produce acid in our stomach, and sometimes when it regurgitates upwards, we get a burning sensation in the esophagus and even upwards. And otherwise, if there's too much acid in the stomach, there's a burning sensation in the stomach area itself. So all this means this is acidity and heartburn. And usual treatment is antacids. And, there are lots of different antacids, and, too many antacids can actually cause more problems. Every medicine has side effects. And sometimes we think that antacids are simple things that probably have no side effects. But did you know that taking too many antacids can have major side effects? For example, constipation. If your antacids are calcium based or aluminum based, this can cause constipation. If they're magnesium based, it can cause diarrhea. These antacids can also cause muscle weakness, twitching, pains, risk of infections. The reason we have acid in the stomach is so that the food goes straight into the stomach from the esophagus, and the acid helps to kill all the bacteria in the food. And this is especially so for carnivores. When carnivores eat their prey, the acid in the stomach kills all the bacteria on their prey. Of course, our food is not full of bacteria most of the time, but still it can have some bacteria. And so when we have less acid, we're more prone to infection. So taking all those antacids makes our stomach more alkaline, so we're more prone to infections. And it also creates more calcium in the blood. So it can cause hypercalcemia, which is not good, but it can also get deposited, that calcium, as kidney stones. And so all of these side effects are things to be avoided. And last but not least, a lot of acidity. If our body is producing too much acid, since our body is supposed to remain alkaline, we take calcium out of the bones to neutralize that acid naturally, and this can cause osteoporosis. So that's a good reason why we want to get rid of acidity and not just cope with it with antacids. Now, as usual, at SHARAN, if we want to get rid of any problem, we think about what are the causes of that problem. And so we're going to look now at the causes of acidity. Medicines only treat symptoms. And so if you take medicines, you have to take them regularly because the symptoms keep popping up and you have to take medicine. But if we get rid of the cause, acidity will go forever, just like it did for Veena, whose acidity was gone in just 3 days because we got rid of the causes of acidity. So what are the causes of acidity? Number one, too much protein. And it's hard to wrap our brains around the fact that protein may be bad and someone could even have too much protein. But protein is digested in the stomach. How do we know this? When you eat a meal that's high on protein, you feel full for a long time. That's because that protein is sitting in the stomach and getting digested. And this is true for every animal. That's why when carnivores eat their prey, it goes into their stomach and then they don't eat for a long time because they're digesting that protein. We're not supposed to eat too much protein, but when we do, our stomach is forced to produce more acid in order to digest the protein. Another cause of acidity could be overeating, because then the stomach has to produce acid in order to digest all that food. Another cause is fatty foods and fried foods, and don't forget that animal products are full of fat. And then too much spices can also cause a burning sensation in the stomach. And tea, coffee, alcohol, tobacco, all of these things, and even sugar, all of these things are acid yielding. So they can give rise to acidity. And of course, medications. There are some medications like steroids and certain, often when we take some medicines, doctors give us antacids to cope with those medicines because they cause acidity. Now, the possible complications of acidity are inflammation of the tissues in the esophagus, because you're burning the mucous membrane in the esophagus, so there's inflammation, and this takes time to heal. Because of the inflammation, there could be stricture formation. Like when you get a burn, you might have seen that the skin comes together, but kind of comes together even closer, forming strictures. The same thing can happen within the esophagus. And this can also lead to precancerous conditions like Barrett esophagus. And that's why we definitely want to take charge of our health and get rid of acidity if we have it. Now, the common solutions to acidity are antacids, and we already talked a bit about that. But here in India, and probably in other parts of the world too, people drink cold milk in order to relieve acidity. And this is good because cold milk immediately makes you feel, brings down that burning sensation in the stomach. But the side effect is that the stomach has to produce more acid in order to digest the milk. And so again, we have a repeated cycle of acidity. And another thing that people take for the same reason is curds or yogurt to relieve that acidity. And these aren't solutions, long-term solutions, they are only temporary solutions. So before I go ahead, I want to invite Veena to tell her story about how, she was having a lot of milk in order to relieve her acidity, but then she changed her lifestyle and her acidity is gone. So Veena, would you like to share your story?
Yeah, sure, Dr. Nandita. Thank you so much for the introduction, and thank you, Chef AJ. I feel honored to be here.
And I just want to share that Veena is one of our cooking instructors. She's going to show a demo at the end as well. Go ahead, Veena.
Welcome, everyone. I feel I'm very happy today to share about my own plant-based journey with you all. So it all started before 9 years. So let's go into the flashback first. 9 years ago, I used to suffer on and off with acidity and was taking antacids for that. But like most of the people, I used to think that...
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Now it's better. I was sharing my screen. Sorry about that. Go ahead, Veena.
Okay. So I was thinking that acidity is so common. Every other person has it. And so I need not worry. And I did not pay much attention to it. I just ignored it. But I didn't know that it is going to cost me a lot afterwards. So it happened that after a few months, my acidity kept on increasing, and so as my visits to the doctor. I used to do some home remedies, like just now Dr. Nandita said. I used to have lots of milk for it, even yogurt, but it didn't help much. In turn, it caused more acidity, and that vicious cycle was on and on. And so after a year or so, it happened that there was too much of swelling in my throat. Initially, I thought it might be due to the cold, so I kept on doing some home remedies, but it didn't help me. I started losing weight because I couldn't eat much. And then there was a stage where I couldn't gulp a single morsel of food. And that's when I rushed to the doctor. He performed some tests and revealed that I was suffering with GERD. I had no clue about this acid reflux. So I was put on proton pump inhibitors immediately. And my treatment lasted for 3 months. But there were so many side effects of it. My body could not tolerate those heavy medicines. There was bad taste in my mouth. I couldn't eat much. I was on liquid diet mostly. I lost so much of weight, and so many other side effects were there. So I couldn't even perform my daily activities. So after 3 months, this treatment definitely gave me some relief, but it did not cure my ailment. So after that also, I was having mostly oil food, and I was looking desperately for some healthy alternatives or some home remedies. And I came across plant-based diet. I took no time on deciding to get on the board. I talked to my family, they all supported me, and we thought, let's try it out just for a month as an experiment. All we have to do is just to eat good food, and we don't have to lose anything. So the very next day, I started making lifestyle changes because I had just 1 month in my hand. So first of all, I removed all the milk and milk products from my refrigerator, like milk, cheese, paneer, yogurt. Then there was turn for oil shelf. I removed all the oil bottles, including olive oil, which I used to think very, very healthy. Then the processed foods. So all the ketchups and mayos and salad dressings, and of course, those packets of fried snacks made their way out of my kitchen. And the very next day, I started incorporating more and more fruits and vegetables in the raw form in my diet, maybe in the form of salads and smoothies and soups. Even I started little bit of nuts and different oil seeds, like sunflower seeds, chia, flax, pumpkin seeds, sesame seeds. And the results started showing me in a span of a week. I even don't remember when my acidity disappeared along with migraine and some joint pains. I started feeling energetic. Not only me, my whole family was feeling so much of energy. My husband reversed his diabetes too. And after a month, we sat and reviewed whether we wanted to continue this lifestyle or not. But unanimously, we decided to go on for it for the lifetime. And my journey is still going on. And of course, it's very, very strong now. Thank you.
Thank you, Veena. And I also want to thank you for all the cooking classes and the teaching that you're doing to help other people get healthy.
Thank you, Dr. Nandita. It's my pleasure. Thank you.
So now I'm going to go back to my slides. Just give me a moment. So we were just talking about these common solutions. And as you know, Veena used to have lots of milk and milk products that she gave up and actually got rid of her acidity. So what are the solutions to get rid of acidity? Veena was just a vegetarian, so all she had to do was give up dairy. But we need to replace all meat, fish, chicken, eggs, because all of these are high protein, which is going to force the stomach to produce more acid. We also need to replace all dairy, same reason. We need to have less heavy meals, smaller portions, and avoid fried and fatty foods. And don't forget that all animal products are also full of fat. Also, we want to eat more alkaline foods, fruits and vegetables, and avoid acid foods like tea and coffee and colas and tobacco and excessively spicy food. And it's also important to chew your food well and avoid eating quickly so that you don't overeat. If you eat slowly, you're unlikely to eat too much. Eat at least 2 hours before bedtime so that it's less likely to regurgitate upwards. It's gone down a little bit more. Avoid lying down right after eating because then it can come up more easily, especially if you have reflux. Elevate your body while lying down if it's coming up. So you might want to sleep with the pillows a bit higher. Stop smoking, because smoking relaxes the esophageal sphincter and allows the acid to come up. And practice stress reduction, because stress can also lead to acidity. Now, there are some related problems to this. One is GERD. GERD means that the sphincter between the esophagus and the stomach is open. So here you can see that in the normal stomach that there's a sphincter. And when everything goes from the esophagus into the stomach, then the stomach starts secreting acid, and there's no way that it can go upwards again. But if the sphincter is a bit loose, then, as the acid gets secreted, some of it may go upwards, causing heartburn. Also, hiatus hernia is another problem that has similar symptoms. So in general, our stomach is under the diaphragm, and there's a hole in the diaphragm through which the esophagus goes into the stomach, converts into the stomach. And if this sphincter is not very strong, the one in the diaphragm, then the stomach can go upwards, as you can see in this image. Just a sec. As you can see in this image, the stomach can go up into the chest cavity, and so it causes heaviness and burning in the chest cavity. And then there are peptic ulcers. And in peptic ulcers, the stomach, there can be two kinds of peptic ulcers: gastric ulcers, which are in the stomach, or duodenal ulcers, which are in the part just below the stomach. This is called the duodenum. It's the first part of the small intestine. And the common causes of peptic ulcers are, believe it or not, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. That's why it's not good to keep taking anti-inflammatory drugs. I never take them, but recently I had a cataract surgery, and the doctors gave me some medicines after the surgery, and one of them was an anti-inflammatory. And this caused me to have acidity for the first time in my life, and I vomited all the food that I had eaten. Luckily, I only took one and realized it and stopped immediately. Or H. pylori or Helicobacter pylori. This is a bacteria that causes this kind of inflammatory reaction and acidity in the stomach. And for this infection, antibiotics are usually given. Now, this kind of thing can produce a whole lot of symptoms. It can produce pain in the stomach, bad taste in the mouth, nausea, a feeling of fullness in the stomach, heartburn, increased bleeding of the gums, belching, decreased appetite. Can you hear me? All kinds of symptoms.
Yeah, I can hear you, Dr. Shah.
Okay. I'm so sorry. I'm going to share my screen again. Okay. And before I go ahead, I just want to introduce Captain Joseph Pinto. So let me stop the share. And Captain Joseph Pinto had symptoms like this. He had symptoms of H. pylori, and his doctor was prescribing him antibiotics. So Captain Pinto, would you like to share your story?
Sure, thank you.
And just before he comes in, I just want to introduce him. I already introduced him to Chef AJ, but I haven't introduced him to all of you. So Captain Pinto was a pilot. I mean, he is a pilot, but he had a big transformation and decided to work with SHARAN, and he's very much into ecological solutions. He runs organic stores. He's been running our retreats and helping so many people get healthy. So, Captain Pinto, over to you.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you for the kind words. Hi, Chef AJ, and hi, everyone. It's a privilege to share my story here. And my story goes long back. In fact, I thought acidity is hereditary because my father had a very serious issue with acidity. So in our house, it's always medicine, antacids, or all this medicine are just lying freely, and we thought whatever you eat, pop up to antacids, then you are taken care of. But it reached a stage that by night, 2 o'clock, I cannot sleep. It's severe pain, and next day I have to go for flying, and I used to really suffer. And as a Christian, as a Keralite, I was heavy into non-veg. I mean, there is no vegetarian part in my meal other than dal. So heavily into it. Even though I had a piles operation, I mean, earlier, then I did a endoscopy to find out H. pylori disease. Still, I didn't find any solution as such. That's a time in 2015. I come across, thanks to Dr. Nandita and SHARAN, I watched a documentary called Earthlings. And after watching the documentary is talking about the cruelty part to animals, so then I decided I will not be part of this cruelty anymore. Nothing to do with the health at that time because I never knew. But the moment I stopped animal products, my acidity is gone. Then I used to get a lot of recurring cold, and when once the cold comes, it used to stay for almost a month. That gone. I had a skin issues. That gone. I lost almost 15 kgs the span of 1 year. I used to struggle to keep my weight in control because of my license in stay, because every 6 months I had to do a medicals, and all gone. Touch wood, this acidity is, I mean, we think it's not a chronic disease, but it's a nagging disease. You'll get irritated, you will be angry. Oh my goodness, you don't get a sleep. So next day you are not at your prime. But trust me, everything gone in one action. And more than this, I feel the energy which I got back, that is the master stroke. I can run, I can play, and so much effective it is. Thank you, SHARAN. I'm really blessed to be in this path, to follow this lifestyle, come across this lifestyle, whole food, plant-based, and yeah, it's a beautiful journey. Trust me, you should try it. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Captain. And we are also really blessed to have you with us. And just for the American audience, I want to let them know that 15 kilos is about 33 pounds. So Captain lost 33 pounds by changing his diet. Okay, I'm going to go back to my slides again. And so, we were talking about peptic ulcers, and Captain was given antibiotics, but he was able to, repeated doses of antibiotics, and still he didn't get cured. But after changing his diet, all these things have gone. And, it's really important to get rid of peptic ulcers and these kind of things, because this can cause bleeding, internal bleeding in the stomach. It can also cause perforation. That means perforating the stomach wall so that the contents of the stomach can go into the peritoneum. And that's an acute emergency. And also that acidity can cause strictures between the stomach and the duodenum, causing pyloric stenosis. And so it causes so many different problems that it's really important to get over. And this kind of obstruction or strictures can also lead to cancer. And it's rare, but it can happen. So these are the reasons we want to overcome these kind of complications. So SHARAN has a 5-point plan that you heard from some of these people, that everything should be plant-based, everything should be whole food. Whole food means we don't even peel vegetables or fruits. We don't peel anything that you can't peel with your bare hands. So, for example, you would peel oranges and bananas, but definitely not peaches and plums and apples. And it should be organic. You know, chemicals, even medicines are chemicals, but the chemicals on the food can also cause damage to our body. And vitamin B12 should be checked and supplemented if necessary. And in India, we have a lot of vitamin D deficiency. So vitamin D should also be checked and supplemented in everyone. Now, SHARAN can support you in a number of ways, but support you to get rid of acidity. But before we get there, I'm going to hand it over to our team again, because they're going to show you some demos. So, Veena, would you like to share your demo with us? Veena, are you there? Yeah, okay,
Yeah, sure,
great.
doctor.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, doctor. So I'm going to show you healthy, non-fried batata vadas today. So batata vada is a yummy street side snack which is available in Mumbai, even in all parts of India now. So I choose to make this recipe today because it's a healthy twist to our favorite fried snacks. Usually it is fried, but today we are going to make it totally guilt-free and healthy. So let's have look at the ingredients first. So first of all,
And I just want to add here that one of the reasons you're showing this is because you used to love these kind of fried snacks, right? And fried snacks lead to acidity. So we are having a healthy alternative to this acidity causing snack, isn't it?
yes,
Thank you,
definitely.
Veena, for showing this.
I would like to add that on top of milk products, which I used to have while I was suffering with acidity, I was having regularly fried snacks in the evening. So this was my favorite, one of my favorite thing, and really I wanted to show you this. So first ingredient is potatoes. Potatoes I have steamed and with peas, as Dr. Nandita said that we follow whole food plant-based food. We use whole food plant-based. That's why everything that we use, whenever we try, whatever we use should be whole and not the processed one. So even potatoes I have used with peels on and steamed it, and you can see the peels also.
So basically you've mashed it, right? After steaming it, you've mashed it.
Yes, so after steaming, I just mashed it. Then I have chopped coriander. I have split black gram, mustard.
Mustard seeds, exactly, right?
Yes, yes, mustard seeds. Then I have curry leaves. Then minced ginger, turmeric, asafoetida, finely chopped green chilies, and unrefined salt. So let's begin. First of all, we'll make tadka or tempering. So, of course, it will be oil-free. So here I am using stainless, heavy bottom stainless steel pan to make tadka. We use stainless steel and not the non-stick vessels because it reacts with the food, and once the coating is ruptured, everything goes into our stomach and causes so many diseases. So first of all, I will add a split black gram and saute it till it becomes little brown in color.
So this is a dal that you can get from an Indian store, split black gram. That's what she's added here. Hmm?
So
Go
I
ahead,
will
Veena.
take a minute. I just saute it till it gives me little fragrance and turns into little brown in color. Once it is done, we will put mustard seeds. Now, all these spices have its own essential oils. And so even if you don't put any oil, it releases oil when heated. So our dal is almost done. Let's change the color. Even I'm getting fragrance. So I'll just remove it because induction is heat is quite a lot and it might burn the dal now. I'm adding mustard seeds now. It will start spluttering even without oil. You may hear the sound. It has started, if you can hear.
Yes, we can hear the mustard seeds jumping up and down.
Yes, it is spluttering. And now I will add curry leaves to it. I have just switched off the heat, added curry leaves, otherwise it will get burnt. Adding minced ginger. And rest of the spices like turmeric, acidity, and mix it well till it becomes little dry. And lastly, I will add green chilies because this is oil-free tempering. And if you add green chilies in the beginning, it will fit into your throat and you will get coughing. So yeah, everything is mixed nicely and it is quite dry now. Now we will make potato filling. So this tadka or tempering I have added into the bowl and I will mix this mashed potato filling. So add unrefined salt and chopped coriander to it. You can either mix it with spoon or just use your hand. My hands are clean, so I'll be using my hands to mix it properly. So as you can see, I have used very few spices over here. But if you are a fan of garlic, you can add little bit garlic or even fennel seeds. It gives nice and unique taste. You can also add garam masala if you are a fan of spicy snacks. So it is mixed nicely now. And we will make medium-sized balls out of it. So just take a small portion and make a nice ball out of this potato filling like this. Or you can also make a patty. Just make a ball and press it little. You can make a patty like this. This way you can make all the potato balls. I'll just quickly wash my hands and show you how to make a batter to coat this potato balls. So here we have gram flour. To this we will add little red chili powder, turmeric, and unrefined salt. And quickly mix it together and make a batter, adding water. So while adding water, you need to be cautious. It should not be very thin batter, because when we fry the vada in traditional way, the batter should be little thinner. But as we want to make it a little bit healthy way, so we will add little less water so that it coats the vadas and it holds its shape properly when air fried. So I'll show you 2-3 methods how we can make vadas. You can mix it together, mix it nicely, give it a good stir. And there should be no lumps while mixing it. You just take a minute or so. It's almost done. So I'll show you how you can fry these vadas without a drop of oil. So we also use appam pan. This is cast iron appam pan. You can just grease it with a drop of oil and heat it nicely and put your vadas like this. So I'll just show you one vada, how to put. So in a batter, just coat it nicely, and with the help of the spoon, you can lift it, or you can use your hands also. In a heated appam pan, just put it like this and heat it and cover it. And once you see that below it's brown, and then you can turn it over and cook it again. Cover it and cook it again. So this way you can make vadas in the appam pan. The second method, you can put it in the preheated air fryer. So air fryer you need to preheat at 160 degrees, and we have laid parchment paper so that food does not come into the contact with air fryer basket, because usually it is made up of either aluminium or non-stick. So to avoid this, use always parchment paper. So here goes this vada. Just coat it nicely, lift it with the spoon, and put it in the air fryer. So I prefer patty shape while I'm frying it in the air fryer, because patty shape will hold its shape. And if it is round shape or ball shape, it will just move away and all the vadas will join together and it will be like a lump formed. So use patty shaped while you are air frying vadas. And this way, we need to put it for 10 minutes. Once it is done, at the top, just lift or turn it over, and the other side you need to bake it again for 5 minutes, and you will have yummy vadas ready. So I have batata vadas ready here. So this side, if you can see, these vadas are air fried. These 5 vadas are air fried over here, and these vadas are made into appam pan. These are also equally nice and nice golden brown in color. It's really yummy. And I have served it with 2 chutneys, date and tamarind chutney and mint and coriander chutney. So both the recipes of the chutneys are on our SHARAN website. You can just search it on sharan-india.org. And our guilt-free batata vadas are ready to serve. Thank you.
Veena, thank you very much. This is one of my favorites too, and I never take all the trouble to make all of this. So it's wonderful that you have made this elaborate recipe and showed everyone how even such an elaborate recipe can be easy and quick to make and delicious too. Thank you,
Yes.
Veena, for that.
Thank you. Thank you, doctor.
And now I want to invite Reina to show a recipe as well. Reina, would you like to go ahead? Just unmute yourself.
Sorry. So thank you, doctor. And I love batata varas. So I've made this recipe and it really comes out yum. So I definitely urge you all to try it. And if you put it between 2 buns, then it becomes like a vara pav, which is a very staple Maharashtrian street food. So today we're going to be making, what I'm going to be making is a raita. A raita is like a kind of like a elaborate dip, I would call it, but very easy and super easy to make with yogurt. Okay, so what are the ingredients that I'm going to be using? I'm using this plant-based yogurt. This is cashew yogurt, which we have made at home, but you can even pick up any plant-based yogurt which you get from the supermarkets outside. And then just to spice it up, because we Indians love our spices, and I know that you also love our Indian food, so I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. And these are very simple spices, very easily available. So we have the red chili powder, okay, and we have the cumin seed powder, all right, that's it. And we have salt, the unrefined salt, and I have some chopped coriander leaves, or cilantro as you would call it. And you know, in some grocery stores, you also, if you go to an Indian grocery store, you also get raita masala ready. So you can just pick that up. So then you don't need these separate masalas. You just use that instead. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, and of course, to make my dip, to make the raita, I have some vegetables here. So I have chopped cucumber. I have grated carrots. So I just wanted to show you 2 different ways. You can either grate or you can chop your vegetables. I have tomatoes. Okay, again, chopped very finely. We Indians like our food a little spicy, so I'm going to be adding a little green chili, but that's optional if you'd like to or not. Okay, so it's really simple, this recipe, and very quick to make. And we usually have it with our pulao or with our biryani. You can even have it like a dip, or even just like a salad, you know, just like that, because it's got a lot of raw vegetables with a little bit of the yogurt. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take 1 cup of this plant-based yogurt. Okay, you can use any yogurt that you get because, you know, the spices are going to mask the flavor. So it really doesn't matter. You can use any yogurt that you like. Okay, so that's 1 cup of my yogurt, which I'm putting it in my bowl, and I'm basically going to be whisking it. so that, it's nice and smooth. Okay. And then in this 1 cup yogurt, I'm going to be adding about ½ cup of water. Okay. So I'm just going to put little first. I put about quarter and I'll see how it is, because it all depends on how thick your yogurt is. Sometimes you don't need to put too much water. Okay, this is the Indian way of whisking, but you can even do the traditional way. Okay, yeah, it's nice. I don't need, I've actually used about ½ cup for 1 cup yogurt here. Okay. And I'm going to show you the consistency. Okay, it's a very smooth, thick, creamy consistency. It's nice and thick. Okay. You can see, very nice and thick. And then all you have to do is add your vegetables. So I'm going to be adding the cucumber. Okay. And the grated carrots. Okay. And this recipe, if you have your yogurt in place, you can just, make it in a jiffy. Tomatoes. Okay. And a little bit of chili. That's optional, really up to you. And I'm going to be putting the spices. So I have a little bit of jeera powder. Okay. I'm putting about ½ teaspoon of jeera powder. And the red chili powder is according to your taste. Okay. Since I put green chilies as well, I'm going to put a little less of that. And then I'm just going to mix it all up. And of course, salt for taste. Always best to put a little less, and then if you need to put more, you can always put more. And then you just mix it. And voila, your raita is ready. Okay. If you like papad, you can make papad, which you can just roast on the gas, and then just have this like a dip for that. I'm going to put some coriander leaves in this as well, and I will be putting it for garnishing as well. So I don't know if you can see that. That's it. It's as simple as that, and your raita is ready. Okay. And before I serve, I'm just going to try a bite. Okay. You can put a whole load of vegetables options. You can put onions if you like. You can put steamed potatoes. You can make corn raita, whatever you like. Okay. It's perfect. It's yum. Okay. And so super easy to make. So now I'm going to just put it onto my bowl before I serve. It looks pretty fancy and all, but you saw how simple it was to make it. Okay. And it's a very healthy option as well. Dairy causes acidity. So that's the best part about doing a whole food plant-based diet. You don't really miss out on anything because you just learn the alternatives. You just make the alternative. So I'm going to be garnishing it with, actually, since I put coriander inside, I'm just going to take a few mint leaves and just garnish it so that it looks nice and inviting, because we first eat with our eyes. Okay, so I'll just choose some nice green mint. And there you go. That's our raita, nice and ready to eat. Okay, and you saw it just took me basically 5 minutes to make this recipe. I understand, that you don't have much help over there and you need to make quick stuff. So this is a very quick, easy, super easy and super tasty recipe. And even if you have crackers, you can just have it as a dip, with your crackers, or just have it just like that, or have it with your raita. Have it with your pulao or your biryani, however you like it. And one more nice variation I usually make, Veena showed you coriander and mint chutney. So you can actually put some coriander and mint chutney in this and put steamed potatoes. Already my mouth is watering thinking about it. And then just mix it with the yogurt, and it tastes just delicious. And so there are lots of things you can do. Maybe you can also give us some suggestions, but do try this raita out and put it in the chat box how you liked it. And I'm sure it's going to be a regular. All right. Thank you so much, doctor. Thank you.
Thank you, Reena. It looks lovely. Both these dishes look lovely. And I do hope the audience will try them out. And they'll find the recipes in the description. So before I end, I'm just going to go back to my screen share and let everyone know how we can support you. If you have acidity or if you have other problems, then we have over 600 recipes on our website, and half of them are Indian and half of them are global. So whatever you like, you might find it there. We also have some publications, including a free recipe book that you can download from our About Us section. We also have a whole bunch of cooking classes that happen all the time. So those of you who like Indian recipes or even other kinds of recipes that are healthy, you can go to our website, which is the address of the website is on every slide. You can go to our website and check out our cooking classes. And if there's something that you like, even though you're in a different time zone, you can opt for the recording and you can do the class just through the recording rather than attending it live, because most of our classes are on Zoom now. And we also have consultations, and we have a team of doctors and nutritionists that can help guide you to a life without medicines. So that's it from me. I really thank you for being here with us till the very end. And I hope that this has helped you make some changes and learn some new recipes and have fun with health. Thank you for that. And thank you, Chef AJ, for once again for having us with you.
Thank you. I really love the way that you tie a topic to recipes, to success stories. I'm just curious, Dr. Shah, what is it about animal products especially that are so deleterious for people that suffer from GERD or acid reflux? And can processed food, like even vegan processed food, also be a culprit?
Okay, so first to answer the question about animal products are full of protein. And protein gets digested in the stomach. And in order to digest the protein, the stomach has to release acid. The acid helps to break down the protein. And so, since all animal products are full of protein, they force the stomach to produce more acid, causing acidity. Now, when it comes to processed foods, it could be the fat and also sugars, because sugars are acidic in our body, and fat also causes the stomach to produce more acids.
That's interesting. Yeah. And that's probably why I think about my husband. Once he stopped oil, he was already vegan, but once he stopped oil, the GERD went away.
Wow.
Yeah. And also, see, we sleep on a waterbed, so it's not possible to elevate it. I know the doctors always say put the bricks under the bed, but when you sleep on a waterbed, that you can't really lift it up.
Right.
Yeah. If you wouldn't mind, last month you did a wonderful presentation on cancer, and I'd love for people to watch it. I can put the link below if they didn't. And a couple of questions came in afterwards. Would you mind answering those from some of the live viewers?
I'd love to.
Thank you. So the first one is from Melissa. And she said, it's about breast cancer symptoms. And she says, is it possible to get symptoms in both breasts and in the ovaries at the same time?
It's rare. And of course, it's possible, and that's why going back to my talk on cancer, we can start treating all of these things, but even more important than that is to remove the causes of cancers. And the reason breast cancer and ovarian cancer are so common is because they're hormone-dependent cancers. And these days, because we're consuming a lot of animal products, we are getting a lot of hormones through them. And all our hormones are orchestrated by the pituitary gland. And when one hormone goes out of balance, all the other hormones go out of balance as well. And that's why it's so important to get rid of the animal products, especially for breast cancer, ovarian cancer, and even prostate cancer. It's really important because these are hormone-dependent cancers.
Yeah, you never hear about vegetables causing cancer, do you? Or fruit? No. Okay, thank you. This is from Britt, and she said that she has a relative with stage 3 colon cancer who's in her 40s and has had surgically resected, but is now facing chemo. Are there any foods or specific changes that she can make that would give her the best odds? She's eaten the typical standard American diet her whole life and may not make a change to completely whole food plant-based. So any specific changes that I could try to encourage her with would help. Thank you.
Okay, so we definitely want to encourage her to stop all animal products. And the main reason is that animal products don't contain any fiber. Fiber is important in the colon because fiber helps to clean the colon. The reason colon cancers are so common these days is because people are eating foods without any fiber. And so they get constipated, or their stools aren't as soft as they should be and easy to pass. And so they stay in the intestines for longer and toxins are absorbed. And so it's really important to have as full fiber foods as possible. I would recommend lots of fruits and vegetables. And even if someone can't eat a lot of vegetables, most people can eat a lot of fruit. So here's what I would recommend: green smoothies. Green smoothies have green leaves and bananas and a little bit of water and maybe even other fruits. I would recommend berries because berries are full of antioxidants. So a green smoothie with green leaves, berries, and bananas. And I would recommend everything to be organic naturally because chemicals are carcinogens. So we don't want to have all these extra chemicals through non-organic food in our body. And so what we should have is organic green smoothies every day. And if you can't eat a meal or if you can't cook a meal, you can replace any meal with a green smoothie and it will help you. And the best part about green smoothies is that sometimes when someone has had colon cancer or bowel problems, then the fiber can be a little inflammatory to the bowel because it irritates. But here in green smoothies, everything is blended, so nothing's likely to be irritating. And so it's really easy to have.
Great, thank you. I don't know about that.
A great way to have organic berries in the US is to get those frozen organic berries and just keep them ready all the time.
Yeah, they have them at Costco, which is one of our big box stores, at a very good price. It seems like people are so reticent to make changes, even in the face of a serious diagnosis. I don't know about this individual, but just the people I've encountered, it seems like there's such an addictive pull to food that even when they have proof and scientific evidence that these are the foods that cause their disease, there's still difficulty giving them up for many people.
Yes, I know. And the reason it's so difficult to give them up is because we fear that we're going to be deprived. And the way to overcome it, I think, is to go to a retreat or some program where there are lots of people together. So, for example, Dr. John McDougall has these retreats where he serves food, and maybe even Dr. Joel Fuhrman has retreats in the US where they serve food. And when we taste the food that's delicious, it's easier to do. So when someone makes that food and we realize that it's not that difficult, we can do it, and it tastes good, maybe even better than what we've been eating, and your body feels much better. Once you try that, it's easier to stay on track.
Yeah, well, I wish everyone would try it. Well, thank you so much. This was a wonderful presentation. You have such great people on, and the recipes look absolutely delicious.
Thank you, Chef AJ, for having us with you.
Well, thank you. And thanks all of you for watching another episode of Chef AJ Live. I do hope you will come back tomorrow. And let's see who the guest is. Dr. Columbus Batiste for Heart to Heart. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.